100 naira Èkó, Ẹ̀sán bus Èkó.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls watching us from every part of the world this morning. It's Lagos this morning, live here on Flip TV. We hope you're there as we are here to bring you all the juicy stories making the rounds in the world as it is, from Nigeria down to the foreign lands. We'll try as much as possible to cut across these sections that things are going on. It's November 21st, 2023. And today is Tuesday, as you all know, except you're just waking up from coma. Today is Tuesday, basically, and we say welcome to Lagos this morning. How you doing? Hope you're good. My name is Ebuka Ezobika.
Good morning, Lagos. Nakwana, Lagos, just like that. I would say people will say good morning. Otutuoma, Lagos, in the Igbo, in the Igbo language. Ekaro.
No, that's Otutuoma for the Igbo people.
Yes.
Ekaro is Yoruba.
Ekaro is Yoruba, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good morning to you all. You're welcome to Lagos this morning. And yes, I'm still your girl, Koforola Milky.
Alright, so we're doing this together. Had it been today, had been a Friday, we would say today is Black Friday. We're putting on black on black this morning. But it's Tuesday, and we just dressed up just to come to work as it is. As usual, we give you the headline stories from the newspapers, various newspapers coming out with various stories. So we'll be looking at each and every one of them. Then the second part of the show, we'll go and talk about some trending stories making the rounds. We'll just pick up a bit from each of the newspapers to dissect some of those ones in that segment of the show. And also, we get to hear from you as you drop your comment on the comment section. As you relate with us, we also relate with you, because right here is basically a relationship between we here in the studio and you out there that is viewing the program. So, without further ado, let's go straight into the stories for today in the newspaper. Starting off with the first news. The front page of the first news, Sanwo-Olu's multi-million naira spending on frivolities raises eyebrow. Yes, as it is, yesterday the news was everywhere about the spendings by Lagos State government concerning so many things in the government house. Lagos government approved 24.5 million naira for Lagos CP's residence renovation 3 weeks to 2023 general elections. Wahoo. They also approved 73.1 million naira for Tinubu's portrait, 44 million naira for vegetables, 7.5 million naira for fragrance in his office, that is air freshener, 3 billion naira for the purchase of rechargeable fans. Deputy governor denies getting 2 billion naira for rechargeable fans. Welcome to Nigeria. We are in this together. Okay. Still on other stories making the rounds. People dropping charms in my courtroom. Lagos judge cries out. We'll be looking at that story today, as the judge of a court is saying that they are dropping juju in my court. So you should stop dropping juju. Oh God, things are happening. Appeal court upholds Benue governor's alias election. That is in Benue State. So those are the stories. Many of other stories too you find in the front page or inside the first news this morning.
Yes, and the next newspaper we have this morning is Nigerian News Direct. And on the front page, we have Lagos government replies that he justifies expenditures on Blue Line vehicles purchases and orders. And the writer here is argues Sanwo-Olu completed Blue Line despite paucity of funds. Says 2.1 billion naira vehicles approved for COS office, not for personal use but for MDAs. Liquid fragrance purchase intended to cover 1 year period other offices. Church renovation approved to preserve history, pay compensation for demolition. Also on the front page of the Nigerian News Direct newspaper, we have Adeleke bags most outstanding governor of the year award at National Cooperative Awards. The subsidy remover, this is on subsidy remover, FGN's over 1 trillion revenue in 4 months. That's from Edu. Ogun flags off second phase of 1 billion naira grant to MSMEs. The Nigerian Navy inaugurates Joint Committee on Blue Economy. Flooding displaces 650,000 Nigerian children in 8 years. That's from UNICEF. The Osun judiciary workers accuse embattled CJ of funds embezzlement, alleged maltreatment. So more of the stories you would find on the Nigerian News Direct.
Well, something similar is here on this Nigerian newspaper, but they say flood displaces 650 children in 4 years, according to the UNICEF. But on the News Direct, it's written 8 years. Anyways, Senate chides MDAs, that is ministries, departments, and agencies for running accounts like private properties. Berate Agricultural Insurance Corporation over inconsistent financial records. No receipts to back up expenditure claims. These are just claims of money just going out in the country. Ministries, departments, and agencies are currently running. The money is being sent to their departments, their ministries, the agencies, running it like a private property, whereas it's for public consumption. Stop leaving charms in my court, Lagos judge warns. 9 bodies recovered from Niger boat mishap. Federal government to address global performance gap. Vice President Shetima sets up committee, says Nigeria's future linked to HCD. All of the stories on the front page there. This Nigerian newspaper, you read more.
And yes, we have the Business Day newspaper. What's the saying on the front page? Holding gouging worsen drug prices after GSK exits. The CBN delays MPC meeting again, leaves investors guessing. Also on the front page of Business Day, we have Lagos spending scandal comes amid investment push. Jollof cost more than triples in 7 years. Okumuhoi, Presco see profits surge despite rising costs. Peter Bankole unveils new book on unlocking SMEs potential. And yes, that's all we have here on the Business Day newspaper. You can read more of the stories right on the Business Day newspaper.
All right, moving now to the Daily Trust newspaper. Flipping through the pages here, the front page. Western democracy not working for Africa. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo is here saying this: Western democracy not working for Africa. Reps goes after 83 MDAs, over 184 billion naira COVID-19 mismanagement fund. Wow, that's a whole lot. Plots to remove me targeted at Kwankwaso's vision. This is coming from the Kano State Governor, Abba Yusuf. Former furor over vacancies, appointments of federal permanent secretaries. 110 million Nigerian children at the risk of climate change. UNICEF is saying this. Sanwo-Olu under fire. Over 118 million naira vegetables and Tinubu's portraits. Portrait is just a picture of the president and also getting vegetables for the government house costing 118 million naira. Why Niger withdrew MNGJTF troops from border with Nigeria? More of the stories, you find it on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
Yes, and the Nation newspaper, the front page headline says, Tinubu to Siemens, speed up investment in power rail. Also on the Nation, we have presidency tackles Atiku over claim on court's verdict. And on the upside, by my left, on the front page newspaper, retirement directive on settles adamant police officers. Impeachment. Appeal court rejects Ondo Assembly's fast-track request. We are committed to transparency, says Lagos Procurement Agency, rumble in Fed civil service over PEMC's from me was okay over PEM sex promotion exam. Yes, and also on the front page we have subsidy removal takes monthly federation accounts inflow to 1 trillion naira. And yes, we also have it there that the president was German with safety of funds, economic reforms, educated workforce, and others. So yes, these are the headlines we have on the front page newspaper of the nation.
All right, with the Nigerian Tribune right now, Western liberal democracy not working for Africa. Obasanjo is saying this morning. The Supreme Court to hear Lagos Ekiti suits against federal government, 34 other states over lottery control. March 13 rather. Obaseki to lead Delta Ondo Ekiti to repurchase shares, reorganize BEDCs to solve electricity crisis. You find that in the Nigerian Tribune. Subsidy removal. Federal government records over 1 trillion naira monthly revenue inflow. This is coming from the Minister of Finance, Wale Edun. He's saying the federal government has recorded over 1 trillion naira monthly revenue income. The question is, what have we been doing with this monies? Let's be more transparent in how these things goes. Highly educated workforce. Nigeria biggest advantage. Tinubu tells investors in Germany that we have enough workforce, manpower in the country. Impeachment. Akeredolu, Ayedatiwa supporters plan protests in Ondo State. The Nigerian Tribune newspaper, you find many of the stories.
Yes, and the Punch newspaper reps probe 447 billion naira COVID-19 spending, summon 83 MDAs, which will be actually one of our topics for today's program. Lawmakers allege mismanagement of funds from 2020 to 2022, demand accountability. Panel plans 6-day grilling of MDAs, chief accounts, finance, and procurement officers. This is on Osun CJ. Court workers protest assembly list scenes. BRT users lament shortage of buses on they lament shortage of buses and long queues. And this is on Israel and Hamas. Women, children carry war burden. Families await hostages. Obaseki's deputy joined governor race plans campaign. NE suspends World Bank's arbitration on OPL 245 disputes. Presidency forms tackles Obasanjo over democracy comments. Yes, more of the stories you find there on the Punch newspaper.
All right, with the This Day newspaper right now, Buhari, I did my best. Not sure if expected results were achieved. Wow. You did your best, but not sure expected results were achieved. That's coming from former President Muhammadu Buhari. Falana, it is dangerous for judiciary to sanction 165 voters for electoral officers' mistakes. It is very dangerous. Talking about Femi Falana, talking about some of the things that was going down in the courts. In Berlin, Tinubu pushes for investment in Nigeria's power rail transport sector. You see that there in the This Day newspaper. Obasanjo is also talking here, Western style of democracy not working in Africa. We have to look for our own style that will work for us. What we are copying, we can't copy their hip-hop, we have Afrobeats. So if the style of democracy that works in the Western world is not applicable in Africa here, we have to look for what is applicable to us as Africans and dwell so much and develop Africa. That's part of the things former President Olusegun Obasanjo is saying. The This Day newspaper would buttress more of the points.
Voice of Liberty newspaper, the main headline here is 1.45 trillion naira saved from subsidy removal. FG, that's the federal government reviews. The Western democracy not working for Africa, that's coming from Obasanjo. And on Kaduna banditry, we are under siege. Lere Kanu, LG communities raise alarm. This is on digital contents. NFVCB vows to sanction streaming services violating laws. Must have been imagination of Nigerians Buhari, that's from Buhari, on cabals hijacking his government. Judgment sacking Kano. Plateau government should be reviewed. That's from Falano. Yes, and party supporters planning violence in Kano. Party supporters planning violence in Kano. Police warn. And then in Lagos, criticism as Sanwo-Olu approved 3.7 billion naira for perfume fans. Yes, that's all we have on the Voice of Liberty newspaper.
And finally, on the newspapers this morning, Blueprint newspaper, Nigeria records over 1 trillion naira monthly revenue inflow. The rider says recovery efforts will bounce back economy to stability. PMS, Nupeng denies planned protest, warns against panic buying, meaning there is no protest coming up. Cleric set to smash Guinness World Record with 60-hour marathon sermon. We're preaching for 60 hours of preaching non-stop. Okay.
Wait, I want to get it. Will it be preaching to the space or people?
Probably to be online or offline. People will be there to be
then
online.
I think that's much better because I don't see people sitting in
You can
a place for 60 hours.
probably there will be some might come, go, another set might be coming like in batches.
Okay,
maybe if you are
for that.
probably if you are tired, you stand up, you leave a here. We just keep on preaching for 60 hours. So that means there's a record like that.
Yes.
For him to want to attempt to break this particular
That means
record.
there's no record you can break. You can just think of yours. Which record are you breaking?
Yeah, I'll think about it, but definitely not praying for 60 hours or preaching for 60 hours.
What is the strength?
Yes, then he asked, did the Lord send him this one? What other news items? Yes, circulation of currency hits 2.99 trillion naira. Still on the Blueprint newspaper. Seplat to conclude $1.3 billion ExxonMobil assets by federal government. Also, they were wading into the matter. And finally, our human material resource advantage over others, Tinubu tells investors. So these and more you'll find in the Blueprint newspaper for this morning. So basically, many of the newspapers are saying the same stories. So we'll go on a short break. After the break, we'll do what? We'll look into some of the stories. We'll just pick out some of them and let's buttress some of the points that are there. Not forgetting those that are on the comment section already. Yeah.
Okay, we should take a few comments before we go on a short break. Yes, from Emmanuel. Good morning, Kofo and Ebuka.
Morning.
Good to see you guys today.
Good to hear
good
from you.
Good morning to you. Yeah, good to hear from you too. Emma Samuel. Good morning, my people. I won't be able to watch the live program today.
Oh,
we miss you today. I'm very busy, but I just say make I rush greet my person, Kofo. Oh, thank you very much.
So nice.
I feel honored.
So nice.
Thank you.
Well, great.
All right. Yes, those are our comments for now. So you can keep your comments coming in, and then we'll be going on a quick break now. When we're back, we'll be taking our stories one after the other. Just stay with us.
100 naira eko, ẹ̀sán bọ́ seko.